Your backswing is dependent on two critical fundamentals. 1. Proper lower body mechanics. 2. Correct spine angle. Once you have mastered your lower body mechanics, it's time to move to step 3 of the golf swing sequence, the backswing. The takeaway, commonly referred to as the backswing, is built entirely on the first 2 swing sequence mechanics. Without an ideal spine angle and proper lower body movement, your backswing will turn into an endless cycle of compensations, swing faults, and quick fixes. Before progressing, please review Lesson 3 in our Golf Academy to ensure your hip and leg mechanics are correct. Now, let's listen to Dan explain how to establish the correct spine angle, achieve proper setup to the ball, and initiate the backswing the right way.
Practicing the proper spine angle position, we first start by letting our arms naturally fall under our body, okay? And once we've done that, now we can actually practice turning the shoulders and making sure that we're staying in that spine angle position. Ideally, when we're in the proper spine angle position, this shaft angle should be 90 degrees to our spine angle. That allows us to make sure that we have the club flat on the ground and the club can move in the most ideal way in the backswing.
Now let's see what happens to your takeaway when you start with an upright spine angle.
Demonstrate some of these issues that can happen because of being too upright or too flat in the address position. So when we have our SpineAlign app on, we'll go into a position where we can hear that feedback telling us we're in the right spine angle. Now if all of a sudden I get more upright and I change that spine angle to a flatter position or an upright position, I lose the feedback. But notice what happens when I do that. Instinctively, my body changes. I become more upright and my hands move into my body, making my feet move closer to the ball. This can cause a lot of issues when we're in our setup position. It can drastically change the way we take the golf club back. Let's talk about a couple of issues that we see when we're too close to the ball. So if I go from a position where I'm in a good spine angle position, all of a sudden I pull out of that spine angle position, I become more upright. My swing path is automatically going to go more outside because I've changed the dynamic of how the golf club goes back in my backswing, okay?
The SpineAlign Golf app helps you to avoid these common errors.
When we have our SpineAlign AI app on and we go into our setup position, you're going to find that if you set up and you hear the audible feedback, that's going to allow the arms to be directly under your body where they work properly. Now let's talk about what happens if we get too upright. Notice when I got upright, my hands moved up and closer to the ball, creating a different shaft plane angle, okay? Now the other thing that can happen too, when people get more upright, they start getting closer to the ball, okay? Now we've changed the distance from the ball, possibly moving you into where you can hit off hosel or taking the golf club more outside on the takeaway. So a lot of ill effect can happen by being in the wrong spine angle in the address position, being too upright or too close to the ball. Using the SpineAlign app, when you set up in the proper spine angle position and you can hear that audible feedback, you're going to know that you're in the right position. Your hands and your arms are going to be under your body where they can go back in a straight position in the backswing, creating a good swing plane and creating a repetition in your golf swing.
An upright spine angle will change your takeaway and cause problems with your shoulder turn.
Let's talk about how a flat spine angle or being too upright at address can change our shoulder turn angle in the backswing. A lot of my students either have one or two issues that I see on a regular basis. When they're in the too upright of a position and too close to the ball, this is correct. Being too upright, what it creates is a flat shoulder turn. Okay, we don't get the club on the right plane. Okay, the other issue that I see is when we're in too upright of spine angle, this can also cause the body to reverse pivot, where we shift this direction and go too steep in the backswing. So the ideal starting position that the SpineAlign AI app puts you in is having your golf club 45 degrees to your spine angle, and when you make that shoulder turn, it's going to put you in the right spine angle every single time.
Let's continue with the opposite problem, a steep spine angle.
Talk about that can cause an issue by being too steep or too bent over in the golf swing is what happens to our body in the backswing. So if we set up in the wrong position and we're too bent over, notice that I'm passing the spine angle position on my way down. Now I'm in too steep of a position. A lot of times when we're in a position like this, what it makes us actually do is flatten out our shoulders in the backswing because we're trying to compensate for being too steep. So if we can stay in that proper spine angle position and be in the right position at address, what's going to happen is we're going to turn properly in the backswing. Notice you can hear the audible feedback when we're in the correct position and I turn properly in the backswing. Okay, so being in the wrong position at address can also cause a lot of issues with shoulder turn. Say we start out in a steep position. So I'm going to pass the audible feedback and I'm going to go to a steep position where I'm too bent over. When I go ahead and I make my turn, I'm going to hear feedback that tells me zing, zing, zing. Okay, that's going to tell me that I'm too steep in my backswing. Okay, now if I'm in the proper position at address and I can hear the audible feedback and I make the proper shoulder turn, I'm going to hear the yes, 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 which tells me that I'm turning my shoulders properly and I'm holding the correct spine angle at address.
Ready to fix your golf swing the right way? Visit www.SpineAlignGolf.com and get free access to the complete SpineAlign Golf Academy lesson program.